don't want to have Limp Bizkit stuck in my head for.
What's up, lovely peoples?
Better than having it in your mouth, Cam.
Okay, that went south quickly.
Yeah.
Alright, chat. We are live for a Wednesday. We're back. Had a great weekend. Baz with a resub. 20-month resub. Awesome. Thank you very much. So the weekend went very well. I was away visiting my grandbaby and with the parents as well. We got some cool photos. We've got 4 generations photo of my dad, myself, my son, and the grandson. And to top it all off, I've been informed by my son and daughter-in-law that they're pregnant again. So, got another grandbaby on the way, which is pretty cool.
They're in a hurry, eh?
Well, not entirely planned, but they're happy about it. So, Cody's got a year left on his builder's apprenticeship. So he'll a year to go and he's qualified, so he's pretty happy about that.
Sweet.
Which will of course mean more money, more opportunities, all that sort of stuff, as you well know, with getting out of an apprenticeship into a trade, into fully qualified. So it was all good, and you've only put up with me for 6 years, Nutty. It's all good.
Poor Nutty.
Lockdown babies, quite possibly, Drax, quite possibly. But anyway, so if there is an encounter tonight, which I'm not sure there will be, you will notice a slight difference in the overlay. The Foundry, I've added another module called Combat Carousel, which should make the combat order a little bit more visible for the viewers and for the players too. So we'll see. Hopefully it works out. Might get some technological hiccups, as we sometimes do. Do we have everybody in the Foundry? Looks like everyone's there. Cool. So without any further ado, we shall get going on tonight's session. If everyone is ready, players are all ready to go, accents all in check. Last we left off, Emilia had visited Skathis in his dreams, where he could not escape her. A very candid conversation had about history and such things, but it seemed relatively amicable. Not too much hostilities there. In the morning, you gather your things, get ready to leave, heading southward towards the Amber Temple. Karnos heads down to the river to get some water, joined by Skathis and Adok, and Karnos starts to regale a story of his past. Adok jumping in and almost encouraging Karnos to continue with the story, as they were interrupted by one of the Dusk Elves and essentially prompted Karnos to start the story once again. 2 and 3 times over. Eventually the Dusk Elf said, no, let's carry on, and you can tell me the story in the wagon on the way, which Karnos rebelled and did just that. Travelling through the winding dark roads towards the mountains in the south, along the way a number of twig blights were observed following the wagon. Several of the Dusk Elves then leapt from the centre wagon into the forest, eventually returning after dealing with the potential threat. As the day draws to a close, you once again set up camp, settle in. Then the screeching wail of something in the forest is heard. The Dusk Elves muster along with yourselves. You head into the forest just a ways from the camp, and encounter several banshees. Battle ensues. A couple of the Dusk Elves are felled during the combat, but the banshees are taken care of. And you return to the camp, again settling in for the rest of the evening. During the night, however, several of you are visited by Strahd himself. Those that were not woken during this encounter probably won't know that it's even happened. You'll probably wake with an uneasy feeling in the morning, knowing that maybe a strange dream. You might remember bits and pieces of it. The uneasy feeling of remembering things that he was particularly searching for. Karnos, however, you had woken abruptly, realizing that Strahd had pressed into your mind mainly through the aid of the Sunsword and Sergei's influence, able to push him out and stop whatever he was up to. You also received an image of a young man's face in a glowing pool with a gazebo. The young man you know to be Sergei Bonzarovich, as you'd seen his portrait at the Castle Ravenloft. And also the voice of Irina was heard, letting you know that, basically urging you to travel to whatever this place is. Trying to recollect exactly where this place might be, you weren't 100% sure, but you had you definitely had a feeling that north was the direction you needed to travel at some point. As the sun starts to rise and the next day draws in, Zadriel, as your eyes flicker open and you sort of sit up and start to sort of come to consciousness, you wake for the day. You roll over in your tent, and sitting cross-legged, staring at you as you wake, is your friend Emilia. Her flowing red hair, freckled face, pale complexion, softly smiling.
I draw my hammer out and I say something Strahd would say now. Or say something Strahd would not say. It's very early in the morning.
Something Strahd would say.
Don't
Strahd would not say.
rewind. Say something Ole Emilia would say.
I am a watermelon. Sorry, I've lied to you several times, so I figured that would obviously be a lie. I like your wings.
Yeah.
That wasn't a lie.
I
What was it?
heard you were talking to a bunch of people in the party now.
Yeah, for some reason I'm not quite dead yet.
Is it because I am carrying your ashes around?
I don't know, I think it's just because I owe you stuff, so I sort of owe you, so that's the way I feel it. Or maybe we're linked, I don't know.
What happens when you have to go to the castle with the rest of the dead?
I don't know. I'm trying not to think about it. I'm stopping in with the group and trying to motivate them and push them forward. And okay, yes, that sounds very unlike me. I get that. But
And you came to me last?
I figured that me and you had the strongest connection, so I've been waiting to see you again.
It wasn't strong enough. You are dead now. I
Yeah.
could not stop it.
Well, that was sort of inevitable, to be fair. And if I'm honest, I've kind of been baiting you guys into doing it for the entire time that I've been here. I mean, at the start, I knew you couldn't, but yeah.
What do you want to tell me?
Well, I just want to thank you guys. Really, in general, my whole life has been one screw up after another, or usually on my part, and you guys have been like friends and family for me. And I'm assuming that the people are looking at chat, so I'm going to turn that off. Because I can see people laughing.
You do not focus very well in the undead life, do you? Is there a lot of voices?
Well, I didn't focus very well in the real life either. So,
Can you help me kill Strahd?
in spirit, I will help you guys kill Strahd. In general, many people in the group have expressed desire to resurrect me. Should you desire to resurrect me, I will help you kill Strahd. If you don't want to resurrect me, then so be it.
What do you want?
Well, an eternity walking from a graveyard to a castle seems pretty boring, but they say that I won't remember that, so who knows? I would like to just be a little girl again, but
You are a part of my family too, Emilia. I don't have many of those left, so
I've known from day one that you're a good person.
you aren't the only one that lies, though.
You did things for me on the first day that people haven't done for me in a very long time, like since I was just a little child. And you probably don't know it, but just the fact that I told you stuff on the first day and you didn't tell people, you didn't tell the rest of the group, you didn't squash me like a bug, which was half expected for you to try. And when I asked you to not tell the others, you did. And I feel that I owe you a lot for that. And to this day, I don't think that we're even. Even after you using that hammer to mush me. But that was Strahd's doing, so.
I did all those things because it made other people happy. It made you happy. But it didn't stop Strahd. And now everyone is dying. So I'm not the most good person, as you say. But perhaps if we can bring you back, we will try better. Hmm?
If you think of a way that you can, I will fight with you till the very end. If you decide that that's not important, then I hope with all my heart that you and the rest defeat Strahd.
Love you, Emilia.
I love you.
Well, if anything, I could put you in my armor. You'd finally get to bang something. Huh? No? If I don't make a joke, I will cry, so you better...
Well, someone said something about putting me into a chicken, but Bibble says that he's already in the chicken, so
It's owl.
yes, the owl. So I guess I can't go on there.
Well, Feeble is making an amulet, and we are working on it. So I don't know if you will be able to talk to us again. You think?
I don't know. I don't think I'll be able to. I'm feeling the pull to go for a walk.
Well, you never know. I might be joining you soon in that. We all might.
I hope you don't.
Hmm.
I hope you complete your task and you go home and you're all happy.
Hmm.
And I have seen all of you in your dreams now, and you're all very happy and good people in your dream. So I know that although you clash in the real world, you're all very good people.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Amalia. And I dropped my accent with her. You're a good person, too.
And if you don't resurrect me, and if you're not able to, and if you go and you face Strahd, whack him with that hammer for me.
The first one is definitely for you.
Hopefully it's as effective against him as it was against me.
I'll do my best. And I'll just sit with her quietly for however long she lingers.
And as you both sit there, just quietly looking at each other, smiling, slowly but surely, he starts to fade. Takes longer than you would expect. It's sort of slow at first. Then eventually, slight breeze kicks up, front of your tent flaps a little bit. Take your eyes off where she was sitting for a split second as you look back and she's gone.
Goodbye, friend. Now we'll head to the rest of the people.
And with that, as you guys all start to wake and get yourselves ready for the day's journey, Casimir is up early, it seems. He's standing in front of the fire. A couple of them are preparing food and coffee and such things. And Casimir sort of waves to you all to come and join him at the fire as you all eventually come to wake for the morning. You gather around the fire and he looks at you all and says, "We should reach Tsolenka, so the large stone bridge, hopefully before nightfall. A couple of things you'll need to know. There will be a large magical barrier stopping us from crossing through the first arch. I can take care of that. There are other creatures maybe lurking in the mountains when we first reach there, so be prepared. Maybe we'll get away with not being seen. But some of the creatures are large and unpredictable, so be alert." And then he focuses, who of you still have dark gifts active? I know Kana still does. Zadriel does. And Skathis, you still do. And he looks around the group. Actually, Fibble, you still do. You still got your chunk of metal. And he stops, focuses on each one of you that still has a dark gift sort of looks at you with sort of a sideways look, kind of quizzical, and says to all of you, he sort of points to the ones with the dark gifts. He says, "Come closer. You have an air of darkness about you. Please come." And he beckons you closer to the fire. Do you reciprocate?
Yeah.
I slowly move forward. Air of darkness. I don't know about this.
You have all... What's the best way to put it? You've all fallen here in Barovia, have you not?
Yeah, a couple of times.
Not into death, as they would say, as you would not be here, but you have come close, no?
Yeah.
I thought as much. And he starts walking around as he sort of kind of almost ushers you into a group sort of close together and starts wandering around, and you see him drawing runes in the dirt around you. He starts moving around the group. And he says, do not worry, this should help. It will take a few moments. And he draws 9, 10 runes in the dirt around you, and then comes back to the front of you and stands in front of you and starts... You can hear him whispering sort of something under his breath, and he sort of his head bows down, he holds one hand up, and his hand starts to glow. The runes start to light one by one as his chanting grows a little louder, and then almost like an arcane field connects around all of you, and then all of a sudden it dissipates with a very audible sort of almost like a flaming sound. Catches you all a little bit by surprise. There's no heat. Flash of arcane purple, and he stops his chance, opens his eyes, and he staggers back a little, and a couple of his personal guards sort of catch him, stop him from falling. Whatever he's done is taken it out of him. You can see he's physically tired, almost like you can see he's drained somewhat. He says, "There, that should take care of that. Should be okay now. Hopefully."
All right.
What do you know of dark gifts of darkness? You had this explained to you since you have been here? Have you figured this out at least? Maybe? So, Fibblestib, you've definitely figured out a correlation between being on the brink of death and these so-called gifts or powers that you guys have been displaying recently.
Me and Fibble, because
Fibble talked to you about it,
Yeah.
but your roll, you didn't believe him. Your roll was low.
okay.
You were starting to kind of put two and two together with the whole not being able to read
Yeah.
thing, but you hadn't quite put that sort of correlation there. So you would probably, when he says it, you'd sort of think, oh, okay, maybe Fibble was right. Fibble definitely knew. I would say the rest of you roll a... What are we going to roll here, guys? Let's roll an insight check. Which I know is a favourite roll for everybody.
Do you want me to do it too?
Yes, you can roll yours as well. You roll at advantage, Scathus, please. DC's not high, so you're pretty good. So Zadriel, we have Oh God, 25. Jesus Christ. Carnos, what was yours? Yours is still pending. Oh no, 13.
13.
And 19 and a 16. So you would all sort of, the moment he sort of mentions the dark gifts and becoming that you've all been on the brink of death, and with what Fibble had previously tried to explain to you in Argynvost Manor when you were there, you almost put 2 and 2 together instantly. Light comes on. Carnos, you think, so that's where that shit came from. The Misty Step. That's what that was. Because you never knew it before. You had no understanding of it. It came to you before your divine connection with Morning Lord. Or with DM, should I say. Scathus, you were starting to make the connection anyway, so it kind of makes sense now. And the first thing you probably do, I would imagine, was to find something to read, to see if you can now read. If you have anything on your person, you're quite able to pull it out and have a look at it, and you would find that you are able to read regular text again without any hassles at all. Adok, you would probably make the connection now between the claws and the fang, the extra damage, and even the slight bravery that came across you at that point as well. Bibble, you would, if you were to go through your pack, you'd find that the lump of metal that was once there is no longer amongst your possessions. And Zadriel, you would also make that connection. And he staggers back and says, "Whew. So I shall have to rest after that, but we have a long journey. Should be fine."
Can someone write something or give me something to read, please? Anybody? What? Nobody's got any written material?
I do, but I don't know if I trust you with it.
I just want to see if I can read anything.
Okay.
How's this? You hold the book, open it up, I'll read something.
No,
On my shield, I'll raise my shield with the Latin Carpe Diem on it. You read?
What's on it?
It's Latin. You can read it, you just don't know what it is.
Yeah, okay. I don't understand what that is.
But you can definitely read it. You just don't know what it means.
So I give him, I don't know. I give him Strahd's diary, and so there you go. There's a little bit of light reading for you.
There you
Open
go.
up to the first page. Blah 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 blah. Okay, here you go.
So you are quite able to read the words on the
happy now.
page quite happily. It probably comes as a bit of a relief to you, in fact. Zadriel, with your most recent dark gift, you would have known that a portion of any damage that you received was being transferred to someone you cared about. So the relief that is now gone would probably be quite a positive feeling for you, I would imagine. So, with that, the wagons are reorganized and hitched, and once again you set off in the direction of the south, heading towards the Amber Temple. Who is going to be driving the cart this day?
I think Carnos might take the reins before Adok gets there today.
No problem. So Carnos, you jump into the driver's seat and you G up the horses.
I say, as I sit in the seat, I'll be like, "Oh, anyone else want to give it a shot? I can train someone else." Fibble, have you ever driven a horse?
Yeah, I'm good.
You want to do it? You're good to do it?
No, I'm good.
Oh, right.
You can drive, and I'll just sit back and I want to read this book.
That's fair. What about you, Scathus? You want to drive? I can teach you.
Nah, I'm good.
Exactly how you
Yes.
want to drive.
Let's get up there with him. Go on.
All right.
You can talk about, where you come from and things.
You're talking bonding, right?
Bonding, yes.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay.
So, with that being said, Skathis and Kaunos are up front. The rest of you in the back. You sit down, take your places, and you head out back onto the roadway. Following the road as it twists and winds through the hills. You do spy through the trees on occasions. The trees thin, the swamps of Berez off in the distance to the west, or entering into the thick of the forest once again.
So, Skathis, so you take both reins like this, right now. You give them just a little whip, so they move a little faster. You don't want to hit the horses in the back. It's just a jiggle the bit in their mouth, and they get the idea they want to go. You see, and then when you want them to stop, you just pull a little harder, and that pulls on the reins and sort of tries to rear them back. Makes them sort of know you want to stop. Here, you have a go.
I'll watch a little bit further.
All right. You're very, what's the word I'm looking for? Afraid to do anything. That's not a word. That's a sentence.
Fine, give me the bloody reins.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Skathis,
Oh.
make an animal handling check for me, please. With advantage, because you've had some coaching.
Well, before I do that, as he gives me the reins, I go smack.
Okay. Still make the animal handling check for me, please. With advantage, as you give the reins a very energetic thwack on the back of the horse. And it's not happy. It rears up a little. It's not entirely happy about being treated quite this way. And you hear it whinny as it rears and then moves a little faster. Kaunos, you might have to jump in here. Can I get you to make a dexterity check for me? As the front carriage is coming up awfully quickly, as the two front carriages not travelling as fast. And Skathis has just now whipped the horse and has now picked up its pace.
I'm going to spend inspiration from my just add a D10 to that. I take it
Yes, D10.
because that was not good.
That was
Alright,
not good.
It puts it to
4
11.
puts it to 11. You managed to grab the reins and you managed to pull on them and slow the horse. But not before the Dusk Elves in the wagon in front, all 2 or 3 of them in the back, sort of peering out, wide-eyed and like just not sure exactly what's about to happen. And you see the look of relief on their face as you stop mere inches.
I'm pointing.
Yeah, they're not that dumb, Skathis. They saw what was happening. You see them with this look of relief on their face as Kaunos, you managed to stop the horse an inch or 2 from running into the back of the forward wagon.
Skathis, damn it. How would you like to get... I'll tell you what. Fibble, have you got a whip? I call back into the carriage.
Oh, what?
A whip. Skathis just whipped the horses with the reins. I want someone to whip him and show him what it feels like.
Don't you have a whip for the horses anyway?
I check around the front of the car. Do I have a whip for the horses?
No, you do not.
That's good because that's animal brutality, Fibble. I would not whip the horses. Skathis, let me tell you, you can't treat an animal like that. Otherwise, you're relying on us to pull the damn cart. Now, if you whip it good, it's gonna rear up and kick you at some stage when you least expect it. Maybe when you're feeding it. You know, I don't
Then-
know.
Then, Carlos, from now on, you drove the horses. Yes?
Oh, I mean, I was trying to be friendly, Scapus. You know what? No more friendly. I see how it is with you demon folk. Zadriel was right about you. And he leaves it at that.
And with that, I just sit in the seat quietly.
Typical. Right, you continue your journey. Once you're obviously gaining control of the horses, and eventually do a couple of things here. Eventually, Karnos, you notice that the front two carriages have stopped. They pull up almost suddenly. You got plenty of time to stop yourself. Easily enough done.
Whoa, I pull gently on the reins. Whoa.
And you manage to stop the horse. The horse sort of snorts and whinnies as you sort of pull it up. And do you say anything to the drow in the front? You see the drow in the front, in the front wagon directly in front of you, is sort of looking up the front. And eventually one turns and says to you guys, like motion you to come up, and some semblance of urgency as he asks you guys to come forward.
Team, they're motioning us to come up the front. So I sort of tuck the reins around the little knob thing that holds them and jump out.
The knob thing? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. Some cart knob thing.
Some cart
I'll
knob.
call it Scapus. And
Cart knob. Okay, so as you tie it off to the cart knob thing, we'll move you down. You're about down here in the road, back into the thick of the forest. So what you see as you guys disembark your wagon and move forward past the second wagon up to the front, Casimir is still sitting on the front of the wagon, and in the road you can see several skeletal figures seem to be blocking the road. Some of them wearing the remains of rusting chainmail. It's quite obvious from some of the colouring from what remains of some of the cloaks that these particular creatures may or may not have once been Strahd's foot soldiers or Strahd's guard, his castle guard. It seems that Strahd may be sending a small message at this point. So they haven't moved to attack as at this particular juncture, but we are going to jump over here. Just gonna do some give me a moment here, gentlemen and ladies. I need to turn the sun on. Daytime. Rain. Good there. So pretty much it should be just line of sight. You have here.
Sorry, DM. I probably would have been more where Adok was off the cart first.
So move yourselves to where you think you would be, because the drow are probably going to be more in front at this point. I just sort of put things where we were. We're going to have a couple of drow in front. Casimir is going to be up about here. You guys definitely would be behind-ish some of these guys. So
Sweet.
we'll just move them slightly so we can sort of see where they're at here. We'll zoom this in a little bit so that the viewers can see a little bit more what's going on. And we will... This one is not there. We'll go this way. See what happens. When I initiate a combat. Unknown combatant. That one. That one. The combat carousel doesn't appear to be working. That's fine. Working before. Oh no, there it is. So, with this much combatants, it may be a little intrusive. You can delete it or move it if you wish. I think you can make it smaller as well. I'm not sure. If it's not good for you guys, let me know. We will just get rid of it. But roll your initiatives. I'm going to roll. Oh wow, that's a lot of initiatives going on there. Why is that not rolled your guys' initiative? Interesting. Tell you what, gonna get rid of it. I don't like it. Too easy. This is gonna reload on you guys. Combat initiative should still be there under the tracker, hopefully. Now the initiative is better. Sorry about that, peoples, but gotta give these things a go. Up there. So top of the initiative. Why that has I will top, which is Fibblestib. So Fibblestib, you have the initiative here, my friend. As these creatures they're not saying anything, they're not really doing anything at this point. You know that they're going to be hostile because this is Barovia, and they're obviously Strahd's forces.
So I'm going to look at him. I'm going to go, he's upset again, is he? Fucking guy's got more. Okay. Where the fuck is it? Flaming Sphere.
Flaming Sphere?
I think I'll put it right there. I think that's how far is that?
60 feet. I think is your range, yeah?
That's 80 feet. I can do it up to 60 feet. So
I guess we might have to bring it back a little bit.
60 feet is okay in between these two guys here.
Sounds good. We'll get them to make their decks as we've determined in our previous encounters with these.
Yes, it's 17, DC 17.
That'll be a 12, so they've both failed.
Cool.
So what is the damage that they both take?
They both take 8 points of fire damage.
Fire damage. So the first two creatures, they both take 8 points of fire damage as the flaming sphere is popped out there by Mr. Fibblestib. And is that you, Fibblestib?
That's all I can do.
Flaming sphere ignites. You can see it's done some damage, but not a huge amount of damage. Karnos, you're next up after this creature here takes its turn. It is going to move forward straight into this drow. It is going to attack with its short sword. It's going to hit a natural 1 and miss completely. Karnos, you're up.
Right.
Skasis, you'll be on board after the next wave of monsters.
Karnos pulls forth the sun sword and his shield and races forward. in front of the elven kind, faces that side there, and swings the sunsword right across his chest area. 27 to hit.
That definitely hits.
I'm going to make my secondary attack at the same guy, so I'll roll a second hit too, eh?
Won't need to.
Okay, I won't do that just yet then. Single-handed hit with the sunsword, doing 13 radiant damage plus the extra d8 radiant damage.
As you swing with your ignited sunsword through the center mass, through the body of this creature, the scattering bones across the ground as you destroy this entity.
So that's 15, 20, 25. I'm going to move to there after I smite him with my hit and call forth to the rest of the Strahd skeletons, holding the sunsword high. I say, come on, come and get some. That's it for me.
Just a question. I didn't roll that high, so my initiative was low.
Your initiative, we'll leave it at that. Don't worry about it. You got a while to wait anyway.
Okay.
Next up is one of the drow. He's going to use his crossbow to attack this one here. Which he misses with a 6. They're not doing very well. And pretty much all he can do. Next up is this guy. He's going to move to there and do the same thing with his hand crossbow. These guys are not being too good lately. Another 6. Wow. Here we go back with the DM rolls. Skeleton going to move there. Going to attack you, Karnos, with its bow. Draws a short bow. 17 to hit.
Carlos raises his shield and blocks the arrow.
Does no damage. Next up, this dude. Gonna move there first. Gonna move there, getting himself into range, and we'll do the same. Short bow, 17 to hit again.
Yeah, same
will
thing.
also
Just knock it
miss.
aside.
Same thing again. We'll keep it going. You're the one right there in the front. 21 to hit.
That gets through my defenses.
3 points of piercing damage. Nothing great, but it's enough. Just finds a small chink in your armor. Skates, you're up.
Okay, so I'm going to... No, I'm not. I'm going to do that. Hang on. Need to check something. Ah. Yeah, that won't work. Damn! Alright. Yeah. Alright. One more! So I'm going to move there.
Yep.
And do the water whip trick. On, hang on. I want that to do that on that one.
Yep.
DC 13 on Dex.
Dexterity save of 13. Saves with a 14.
Okay, then he gets half a 27.
Holy shitballs. That is enough to kill it. As
Cool.
you summon your key power and the energy whips out from your hand, striking the creature. You don't manage to pull it towards you, but the impact is enough to shatter its rib cage, shattering these ribs across the ground, and the rest of it just drops in place. Is that your turn, Skathis?
That it is.
This one moves up and again takes a shot at you, Carnos, as you're the only one that can see within range.
No problemo.
Misses with an 11.
That shield is working wonders
It
tonight.
is. This one going to come through there. Take a shot at this guy. The 15 to hit, which does hit, so 8 points of piercing damage on this drow here. Takes an arrow to the upper chest, drops to one knee. Zadriel, it is now your turn.
Zadriel is going to cast haste on herself, which increases her movement, and I am going to, seeing as Carnos and Skatis have the front covered, I'm going to move to the side over here by this guy, and that's it for me.
You're not going to attack or anything, he's going to move up there.
I cast a spell, so yeah, I can attack.
What spell did you cast, sorry?
I cast haste, which is an action, so.
Okay, yeah, so you can't attack unless you have a bonus action to attack.
So I'm just gonna move and scream in this guy's face.
Okie dokie, scream in his face. This drow here is not going to do anything, he's going to stay where he is, protecting Casimir. Next up is this creature. Where is he? 30 feet gets him to there. Another bow attack at you, Carnos. It's 18 to hit.
That hits as well.
3 points of piercing damage once again as the arrow finds its mark, finding a chink in the armor. This drow moves up and attacks with a short sword. 21 to hit, with 3 slashing damage on this guy here. Breaks a couple of bones, but it is still standing. Next up is Casimir. Casimir looks around and he is going to do a 3rd level fireball. He's going to drop it right there. So these guys here will make a collective dex save of a 12, which will miss. So they all take 23 points of fire damage as the fireball ignites, striking them all. So this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy, and this guy are all engulfed in flames and are reduced to nothing but ash as the fireball ignites in the area. Adok, it is now your turn.
Yeah, Adox was going to do something, but he's not going to do that anymore. He's now just going to cast Firebolt.
So you still have a few targets left. Obviously, we have a couple down here in the trees and a couple up here by Zadriel. So
Yeah, just go for a 15 to hit.
which one are you attacking? Oh, that one down there. Oh, yeah, I got him. I got him. That'll hit.
Fantastic. For 14, what's another D8? So a total of...
Yeah, that'll do it.
Points of damage.
Firebolt streaks out from Adok's flute, striking the creature, scattering its bones in all directions in a burst of flame. That creature is now gone. Is that your turn, Adok?
Adox, just before he finishes, going to look at Casimir and he's just going to give him a wink and he's going to say, "Oh, through the fire and flames, I see."
Casimir nods and grins back to you. Next up is this skeleton who's going to attack you, Zadriel, as you are in front of it. With its short sword with a 17 to hit, which I believe misses.
Misses, yeah.
strikes nothing but armor. Next up is this guy. Moves into this drow. Targets him and also makes a short sword attack with an 18 to hit, doing 4 points of piercing damage, slashing damage. Next up is this drow. He is going to move back to here in a protection sort of position around Casimir. Fibblesip, back to you.
Right. Yeah.
Carnos, you're on board.
Move the fire. Hold. If for some reason, I'm still in that. I'm gonna move it over to here. Ooh, okay, move it something like this.
Okay, so both of them will have to make a dex save.
Yep.
Nicely done. 13, which I believe is a fail.
That's a
What's
fail.
your DC?
17.
17,
For that
yep,
one.
so that's a fail, so they will both take
11 points fire.
whew,
And
Zadriel, you watch as these creatures virtually burst into flame. They're on fire.
And then I'll shoot a firebolt at that guy there.
No problem.
Once I find the bloody spell. There it is. So,
Yeah, that'll hit.
yeah, I'm not even to add the +5.
You don't even need to.
So 16 points of fire damage to him.
Another streak of fire surging out from Fibblestib's hand this time, destroying the skeletal creature, sending bones scattering across the road.
And then I say, not as big, but just as strong.
Carnos, it is now you.
I was going to run to that one, but never mind. So I've just got the ones up by Zadriel I can see.
Indeed, that is all that remains. Getting a bit warm on that side. You would
Yes.
know to move sort of around the other side. We'd have to make a dex save if you were to stop your turn there.
Okay, so either way it works out the same distance. So I will face that away and attack set one there. Now I'm going to, as I'm sort of running up to it, I'm going to swing low, slide on my knees.
Chariot. Oh no. Ah.
It's a music night tonight, I think. We're going to slide through, swing low, and take out its knees using one of my maneuvers called a trip attack.
Go for it.
Allow me to expend a superiority dice while I hit it. So, rolling to hit with the sun sword low. That is a 30.
Oh yeah, that hits.
So this will have a d8 added to it, plus a d8 for the sun sword. 2d8 extra.
I don't want to deny you the rolls, but you don't even really need to roll.
I figured. As I chop his knees out from underneath.
I would even go as far to say, describe how you kill them both with that attack as you slide through, easily destroying the first, sliding through and just your follow through with the sun sword manages to collect the second who is on just as much hit points.
That's good because I was going to use my second attack to hit him again. Zadriel, you would see me come sort of racing beside the tree as quick as I can, sort of hobbly limp run, and I slide under, I swing the sun sword through the knees of the first one, and I'd like to say I almost pirouette as I stand up and cut the other one in half at the waist, watching the bones sort of clatter to the grass, clink, clink, clink on each other.
Indeed they do.
And then I sort of blow the end of the sun sword as I deactivate it.
And that is the end of our combat as Kaunos finishes off to the final two of these creatures.
Sorry, Zadriel, I stole your thunder there.
That's very impressive, Carnos.
It's the
Just take
sword.
my hammer and walk away.
And you look around and you see that the rest of the drow, none worse for the wear, really, as the remainder of these creatures. As you look around, you can see that all of what armor was remaining, very rusted, probably wouldn't have done a whole lot, not worth anything. The weapons were old and rusted also. Just a scatter of bones across the road and grass through the trees where you just fought through these creatures. You've fought skeletons before, you know that they're not difficult. But you're also, I would say now, of an intellect, as length of time you've been in Barovia, they were probably not meant to hurt you or to even stop you, but to merely get in your way, slow you down. Strahd's playing more games, it seems. But eventually you all return to your wagons, and the wagons once again start making their way towards the south. Casimir and the Dusk Elves give you a wave of recognition as they get going again. Sort of, Casimir, you can see points at the sky, letting you know that obviously daylight's burning. We need to make good time. So the front two wagons start to pick up the pace a little bit, slightly faster than a walk, just shy of a trot, but enough to keep the pace, keep things going. Is there anything else you wish to discuss before we move further forward?
Yeah, Carnos would get up beside Fibbleston and be like, counting 1, 2, 3. And Fibble, you would hear that clearly.
Then I go 4, 5, 6.
No, I was just counting the arrows sticking out of me. Can you give me a hand with these?
Ah, yes, I can. And then start ripping them out.
Oh, that hurts. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a gusher.
Just a question: who's driving the cart?
We haven't got there yet.
Who is driving the cart?
That's
And I'll just jump on the front.
I mean, I think by this point, one of you would be driving the cart. I mean, you decide who's driving. I think we've done enough animal handling checks and stuff now.
I just look back at Scathus and give him a big grin.
I looked down. Sit there quietly.
Once I finish ripping all the arrows out, I'll cast Cure Wounds, and he gets 12 hit points back.
12 healing damage.
Oh, that's just what I needed. Thanks, Mr. Stubb. That was ouch.
Yeah, I find it's like a band-aid. You know, you just rip it off quick. Or out. And yeah.
Yeah, I think you did more damage than the skeletons.
Yeah, I would imagine that. But, you know, the bastards with no eyes can hit pretty good.
That's a valid point. I never thought about that. Yeah. Yeah, that healing was good. I'll stop that gushing blood from my leg.
Anything
Thank you.
else?
No.
Nope.
Back to reading book.
You continue your journey. Which book are you reading?
The one that you gave me.
Van Richter. It's Van Richten. It's Van Richten's Guide to Vampire Hunting and Monster Hunting. So it's got you've found a few other pages you didn't see before, and it's a bit of an interesting read. So you continue further forward. Now off in the distance to the west, you can see the expansive mountains, the mountains that were, I think Casimir called them the Gakis Mountains. It's a huge mountainous range. You can see the snowdrifts, the wind whipping the snowdrifts off some of the lower peaks. It is indeed a large mountainous region. You can also see the archway that he was talking about. So we're getting sort of early mid-afternoon now. You know, you've maybe got a few hours of sunlight left, and it looked like Casimir wanted to get across this bridge before nightfall. That was his express intention, which is why the quickened pace. Eventually... Oops, I don't have a token on here. Why do I not have a token on? None of us do. I know why, because I didn't do it. Figure token vision. We don't need token vision on this one. So as you approach, the road starts to narrow, and as you start veering up towards this bridge, you now, on your right, there's a massive drop. A couple of 100 feet at least. A shelf of rock which the mountain road clings grows narrow. To your left, as you get closer and closer to this arch, or to this battlement, the cliffs rise sharply towards the dark rolling clouds, and to your right the ground falls away into a sea of fog. Ahead through the wind and snow which has now started to fall, you see a high wall of black stone lined with spikes and topped by statues. It seems to be demonic style vultures with horned heads. Set into the centre of the wall is a closed iron portcullis, which burns behind it a green wall of flame.
On approaching this, Adok's face is going to contort and is going to be deep in thought. But that's about it.
Okay. So as the wagons approach, the temperature drops very sharply now. At this point, if the cloaks that you've been given would be advised to equip them. So you grab out your fur-lined cloaks, you put them on. It helps somewhat, but it is still bitterly cold. The wind is whipping up around here. The snow is hitting you in the face. It's starting to get very, very cold indeed. As you see and watch ahead of you, the first wagon approaches the portcullis, and then you hear the screeching of metal on metal and the grinding of metal on stone, as if by magic the portcullis starts to lift. Something you've experienced before at the gates of Barovia, something very similar. Casimir doesn't stop. He seems to move forward, moving through the portcullis, as does the second carriage, leading you into a tunnel of sorts. At the other end, you can see this flaming green stuff blocking your way. Two front carriages come to a halt, as does your own. So that you stand there for a moment. Do you get off your wagon at this point? Do you go see what's happening up the front? You can sort of see kinda, but you're not entirely sure what's happening. You just know that they've stopped.
Yeah, Adok would definitely.
So Adok, you go for a stroll up the front.
Adok would walk to the surrounding stone in the wall and just reach out a hand and just touch it.
As you touch the
Absolutely
stone,
difficult,
it's
yeah.
ice cold. Like it's almost painful to touch.
Mm.
The stone here, it's very, very cold. And even just standing out of the wagon, you're kind of sheltered in this little tunnel thing. But the wind sort of whips up and whips through it every now and again, and just it sort of chills you to the bone almost.
Mm.
But as you sort of walk around the side and down towards the front, you see Casimir standing maybe 10 feet from this flaming wall, this flaming barrier that seems to be blocking the way. And you watch him as he raises both hands and starts muttering again, and then waves his hand, and the barrier slowly dissipates and vanishes. What you see before you is a stone bridge. Some of it has fallen away and crumbled on both sides, but it looks sturdy enough. 120, 150, maybe 200 feet across to another similar looking battlement on the other side. He turns to look at you and just nods, and then gets back up into the first wagon and says, quickly now before it reconstitutes and orders his man to carry on. You return back to the wagon, and all wagons proceed forward once again. Point here. You get a third the way across this bridge. You can see now below, if you look out the sides, is just a chasm into thick mist, and you can barely see the tops of trees. The low walls that enclose the stone bridge have fallen away in a couple of places, but the bridge appears intact. A black cloaked rider on a charcoal-coloured horse stands in the centre of the bridge, ahead of you. Casimir doesn't seem to be stopping. You continue and follow suit. You're driving, Adok, so it's up to you.
Yeah. I mean, if he's not stopping, yeah.
As you watch, you're sort of peering out the sides of the thing past, you watch the first carriage, then the second pass through this, whatever this is. Then you, obviously being of an arcane user, and realise almost instantly as the second carriage passes through it that it's nothing more than an illusion. Looks very much like Strahd, however. The rider himself, very, very similar. You continue onwards, reaching that point. It is about this point of about halfway across the bridge, just over halfway, you start hearing a loud screech in the clouds above. Something very large is moving above you. You see the first carriage pick up pace slightly. You see the second carriage start to pick up pace. Do you follow suit?
Oh, yeah.
As you do so, you hear that roar and screech from the clouds above, and what you see, and the rest of you are now hearing it and probably peering out the front of your wagon, your covered wagon, you see what could only be described as the largest bird you've ever seen in your entire life, swooping out of the clouds, diving towards the bridge. And it dives downward, picking up speed as it goes. It then spreads its wings outright, its claws pointing downwards, and just swoops in and picks up the centre carriage and just flies away with it. Two of the drow fall from the carriage, one hitting the side of the bridge, rolling off and over the side. The others, you can hear the cries of the drow as this rock just swoops up and heads back into the sky and disappears into the cloud.
Holy crap, Adok, can you fire something out of your flute that might paralyse that thing in the sky?
Adok's just gonna be like whipping the horses like crazy. He's not gonna respond.
As you do so, your horse picks up pace, and you catch up to Casimir's wagon, and you make it to the other side of the bridge, to relative safety of the opposite side parapets and battlements. Similar to this, without the green flame this side, but you make it there as a large guard tower to one side. Casimir pulls his wagon off to the side of the road and sort of looks back and looks up and just shakes his head and dismounts and waves you guys to come aside. The wind has started to pick up now, quite loud. It's getting hard to sort of hear above the howling wind and snow. You can see he's sort of beckoning you guys towards the structure, which seems to maybe be a place to hold up for the night. Do you follow suit?
Yeah, jump off the wagon.
Haddock, after finishing hyperventilating, will definitely get off the.
I need everyone to make a Constitution saving throw, please. As you've now been in this wind and cold, even though you're in the wagon, you've got your cloaks. The temperature has dropped very rapidly in this short space of time. You are looking for a 15 or better. As you would all be dismounting the wagon and within close proximity to Zadriel, you can all add a +5.
In that
So
case,
in that case,
geez.
you're all pretty good. I mean, you're passed anyway, so you're all exceptionally good. The cloaks seem to be working relatively well. It's cold, bitterly cold. It doesn't seem to be worrying you all, many of you at this point. The one thing you have noticed now is the sound of the crows that are normally ever present, or ravens ever present around Barovia. It's just been drowned out by the sound of the wind and howling over this mountain region. And that is probably a good time we take a 5-minute break as you guys enter this battlement through a creaking wooden door, kind of iced over and snowy, and Casimir and the 2 drows that remain lead you inside. They start preparing and organising a fire. What you see basically is just a simple guard tower. It's got a fireplace. It looks like it's got an old table that's just about ready to fall apart. A couple of chairs. But there's enough... Looks like people have used this before to take shelter in. And Casimir, using his abilities, starts a fire, which starts to warm this room quite significantly. And we will take 5 minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, to make a coffee, go to the toilet, do what we need to do. We'll be right back after these messages. Hello, chat. We're back. Right, so you have made it across the Tsolenka Pass bridge. You have now found yourselves inside a guard tower, not unlike the guard tower you can see in the picture to the right. You can see it's got a bit of a spiral staircase leading up, but where you are currently at the moment, a fire has been lit and it is starting to warm somewhat. Casimir sits down close to the fire. The other two dusk elves disappear outside and come back in every now and again with some more wood and supplies, food, ready to settle in for the evening. Casimir turns to you all and just says, well, that was a close one, was it not? Been a long time since I've seen that creature, I must say. We will mourn our friends.
That's not one of Strahd's little pets, is it?
No. This is what is called a rock, a rather large bird of prey. Normally they attack livestock, horses and such, but I've not seen one here for many years, so must be hungry. Yes, unlucky for my companions. Lucky for us, we managed to survive.
Sorry for your loss, Casimir.
Yes, indeed. But more important things ahead, I think.
How many men did you lose on that wagon today?
I believe 4.
4. Is there anything we can do? Message we can send?
No, I think it's taken care of. They are soldiers. They understand the risks, as do we all. This place is not devoid of danger. As you well know, at the time you were spent in Barovia, that many things here are dangerous, and not all creatures are friendly.
How many times have you went across this bridge back there?
Over the years, I've been across here many times. My research. It has been 4 decades since I last saw the rock.
So if something happened to you, we would not be able to go through the green mists of the bridge then?
You are able to cast a dispel magic spell at a higher level. It is more powerful. I cast it. It has made me very tired, but it should be okay. If something does happen to me and you need to leave, then I'm sure. He sort of nods in towards Fibblestib and Adoc's direction. Are you able to dispel the magics?
I'm more of what you call, like a fire and, a cannon and stuff. No. Short answer. I can't.
Yeah, it's above me too. I'm not so much for the arcane, more for the make thing go boom.
Yeah, it's kind of what we both do.
Zadja, you have this ability.
I can dispel the magic.
You will probably have to concentrate and cast it for a more powerful magic. Is a strong spell. But forgive me, we needed to get across for nightfall. The temperature drops quite rapidly here after the sun goes down, and I'm quite sure you do not wish to freeze to death.
I mean, it's not on the top of my list of things to do, but
No, I would not think it would be. And you can see he's dressed like he was when you guys were back at the Vistani camp, so he looks like he's quite warm. And obviously, you know, he's got something that's protecting him. Even with your cloaks and with the fire going in this guard tower, it is still cold. You can still see your breath in the air. So you know, you could sort of imagine that if you were to step outside as the sun starts to go down, if you were to step outside, that temperature is going to be extremely low and would probably do some pretty serious damage.
Is there any hay around?
There is not.
Okay.
This place has been long abandoned. But the Dusk Elves have brought in sufficient wood to keep the fire going for the remainder of the evening. They've prepared some food, and which they offer you, and it's like a stew of sorts.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, there you
go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You-
Did we lose me for a second?
paused. Yes.
lost you for a second.
Oh, that's not good. Did we good, chat? Everyone's still there? Just make sure we're all still here. So yes, there's enough wood for the evening. They've offered you some food. There's nice hot stew, some hot coffee-ish. Are we still streaming? Yep.
Yeah.
Looks like we are.
It took a bit to come back, but it looks good.
We're good? We're good? Cool. So we did actually hiccup. Apologies, chat. I'm not sure what that was, but we seem to have had a bit of a hiccup in the old interwebs. I'm not sure what that was, but we're back. Hopefully you got all that. We said the Dusk Elves have brought in enough wood for the evening. They've prepared a hot meal, and some hot drinks. So you've got probably a couple of hours before sundown, and obviously a night to get through. The fire is going to need to be tended through the evening, so there will need to be watches. Casimir has said that his Dusk Elves will take the first watch, which will consist of 4 hours, so you only have to probably have 2 watches for the remainder of the evening between yourselves. See you later, JJ.
Should we team up on watches or something?
I'll take second.
yeah,
I'll go first. I like going first.
Well, the Dusk Elves are going to go first, so second will be second. So second will be your first.
So
You
is that Scaphus and Fibblestib on the second watch?
Yes.
I will do third.
Haddock, you or me, mate? Your choice.
Well, you guys only have to do 2 watches between you. So Scathus and Fibblestick will take the second, and you need 1 more watch. So you can take all 3 of you can take it together if you want.
yeah, we could. I mean,
More bodies by the fire to stay warm.
Split shifts, right?
I
Seems
mean,
good.
and I can, produce a little bit of flame if fire looks like it's about to go out, so keep it alive.
Done. That's decided then.
Alright, so is there anything you guys want to discuss before we head into our watches? Casimir's still awake, still up. The other Dusk Elves there sort of tending things. If you've got a hot drink. Casimir's just sort of sitting by himself, he's resting, he's not sleeping, but he's you definitely notice that whatever he did to help you guys in the morning and what he's done to remove this barrier has taken a little bit out of him. He looks a little worn, but he's still awake.
I will go to Casimir and say, that was very impressive with your spells today. You almost don't need us.
Almost, indeed. As you know, use of the arcane and takes a lot out of you. So, while I am able to cast some of the more powerful spells. They are very taxing.
Is there anything else special we need to know going in that only you can do? Open things or puzzles within?
The temple has many things that you may need to know. Maybe the rest of your friends should gather for this. And he sort of motions to you all to listen in, or at least pay attention to what he's got to say.
Oh, I love stories. Yeah, lead on.
I mean, as you know, the Ember Temple was home to a group of mages who eventually went mad and one of them tried to become a lich, and it did not work out very well for him. But the place itself it's cold, it's dark. Where I have explored, there's not much danger, but there are places I have not been to yet, which may have things still there that may try and stop us from doing what we are trying to do. I can almost guarantee that Strahd himself will know where we are and what we are doing. Even he himself may try and stop us. This place is where he himself gained his power, his knowledge of the arcane and spells. He is a powerful sorcerer. This much you must know already. I have found some of my own knowledge here, which enabled me to help you earlier today. Found that knowledge here in the temple. But I believe that the knowledge here will help me be able to bring back ancient dead. Those who have been dead for a long time. I hope. That is my task here. Find these spells. Which in turn may be able to help you with your friend. But there are other things, of course, that you may be able to find here. But I warn you, not everything here comes without a price. These gifts that you received, while they may seem gratuitous and pleasant, there's always a price. That price is not always a fair price. So bear that in mind when you are searching the tombs and the walls of the temple. You may see things that may not be real. You may hear things that may be tempting. But beware of the consequence.
Zadriel nudges our dogs.
Yeah. All right, I will.
As you, a small story for you. Have you heard of an entity called a Jinn or an Afriti?
Say what, Aya?
A Jinn. Some call it a genie or a
The
Ifrit.
drink? Oh,
No.
you-
A genie,
Not
like a magical being who is able to grant a wish.
I mean, sure, yeah.
You've all heard stories, I'm sure, as a child.
Imagine
Can
that.
I-
Give
Can
it
I
a bit
do
of
a
a rub.
history check?
You can, if you want to see if you yourself have heard these stories,
No.
you can make a history check.
I've heard rumours.
At 13, you probably heard, everyone's probably heard stories as a child. There's probably stories told about the Jinn or the Ifrit and about what they can and can't do. You've probably read about it, I would say. You've definitely heard of the entities that have the ability to grant a wish. But yeah, so with that, he continues and says, well, it is said that when a Jinn grants a wish, that the price for that wish can sometimes be very high. You may ask for riches, to be wealthy. But what you will not know is that that wealth may be taken from someone else before it is given to you. So therefore, you may be putting a family out on the streets, and you gain their wealth through this wish. Or if you ask to have a powerful weapon, as an example, that weapon may be owned by a very powerful entity, and you will be transported to its lair where you'll be slain and cut into 1,000 pieces, or you can get said weapon. So these dark gifts, as I have come to call them, work in much similar manner or fashion. While they may be gifting you an ability that you wouldn't otherwise have, you may be causing pain to others, may be causing pain to yourself.
The gift I received, I was able to bounce from one space to another that I could see. I don't feel there's anything wrong with that.
Yes, but what was the consequence of this action?
It turned him into a bird statue.
Was that? Yeah, I suppose. Guess that was bad. It kind of got worse, didn't it?
So, you see what I mean.
Oh, I guess it could have been worse. That was actually not too bad.
As I said, the consequences vary. Some not so. Others could be more severe, causing death to others, causing damage to your friends or family. Some may not have any ill gains at all. You just never know. But I'm sure that this place, some of the entities that inhabit the temple will make offers. I'm sure. As long as you are forewarned, as they say. The decision is then yours to make.
Yeah. Alright, gang, I'm not going to lie. It's probably well known that I have not made the best decisions so far with you all. Not the smartest or wisest of decisions, especially when tempted with things. I may or may not probably be better to stay outside of the temple. Keep a watch.
Little one, I'm sure that this is probably a good idea. Fortunately, you would probably freeze to death while waiting.
Cool. Alright, well, if I do make a deal and it harms you, just try not to be too mad, please.
I'm sure Zadriel will protect you.
Yeah. Right.
What-
Hopefully. Yeah.
Do you actually have to speak to the genie for the genie to actually do the thing, or is it a mental contract you can make?
I'm sure it probably works both ways.
Because if it's just a verbal thing, we could cut his tongue out and then we don't have to worry about it.
T-ball.
Yeah, but, no. I can't cast spells then. No.
I'll just cast mending and it'll fix it all up, wouldn't it?
I don't think that's how mending doesn't work on flesh.
Or a gag. We just something around his mouth, maybe.
Again, if I'm gagged, then I can't cast spells.
How is it that you have survived so long as this?
I have no idea. I have no idea. What did it ask you, Casimir?
Well, I have not spoken to these entities. I will not enter those chambers. Not where I need to go, but There are things in this temple that I'm sure will aid you in your quest against Strahd. You don't have to accept any of the gifts. You can simply say no.
So does it actually give gifts, or is it all a lie?
Well, you get... I mean, you yourselves have been party to some of these gifts already. I sensed it when you first came to me. The gift gives off an aura, of sorts, a sense. I'm able to read it. Some can be cured through restoration spells, others through more elaborate means. But there are some that are permanent. Well, that cannot be cured.
Do you happen to think that maybe, you know, it's sort of like if you ask for something and it's a bit unclear per se on what you want, then it can backfire. But if you're very clear on what you say and word it in such a way that it could go well for you.
Possible. I've not yet heard of anyone that is able to outthink a Jinn or an elite at this point, but the forces that work here in the temple, we call them the dark power of Shadow. Do you know anything at all about the Shadow Spell? The dark powers that reside within? You know nothing of...
Something Raven Queen, something...
Indeed. The Raven Queen itself is the minion of these lands, but the dark powers are the Shadowfell. They are the ones who gave Strahd his power. They're the ones who keep him here. His suffering, his anguish, his hatred feeds him. They will not let him go. Not so easily. But they also like to toy with him and give him false hope. Maybe one day he will be able to leave.
Okay, brainstorm idea. What if we wished, what if someone wished that we were as strong as Strahd?
No.
You misunderstand. I was talking metaphorically with the Jinn and the Evldoa. You can ask for a wish from them, yes, but here in the temple, they will offer you a gift. They will tell you what it is, and then you accept or not accept. If you accept, you get this gift, but as I said, there's always a price. You may not know what this price is at first, but eventually I'm sure you will.
Alright, yeah, who's got that gag?
Skithers, you have manacles and gags and things like that, don't you?
No.
Yeah, you do. You had those ones you were with
Yeah.
Emilia with that time.
Yeah, you wanted to chain her up all the time, remember?
That wasn't. I said them, but it wasn't me that held them.
I thought you tied her to the bed.
What? No. Did I? Wait, hang on.
Yeah, mate, I'm pretty sure he did.
Nah, I think it's
No.
actually the other way around.
At this
That
point,
sounds right.
Casimir is just shaking his head, and he turns to you and says, "Well, if you will excuse me, I think it's time for get some rest. It has been a long day." And he goes up the spiral staircase to the next floor up, and the two dusk elves remain on this floor, but they go outside the door. They give you a nod and say, "Well, We will wake you when our watch is over. And they step outside. And you can see they're bundled up. They've got furs and stuff. Hooded cloaks. Fur-lined gear. So they're quite used to being out here in this cold. And they disappear outside and close the door. So there's now just you yourselves in on the main floor of this guard tower. You got a fire. You got wood to keep it going through the evening. And by this time, Zadriel, if you looked at your shield, and you'd probably see through the small window here that the sun is starting to set. It's starting to get very sort of dingy grey. It's right on sunset.
What do you guys make of this Casimir? He good?
I don't know. Adok, what do you think?
Well, you see, he gave me some coins, so a little bit biased, but I think he's all right. But needless to say, it's probably got some sort of, if the things the dark powers in there work in a sort of give and take situation, yeah, it could be the potential that we are sacrifices for whatever plans he needs. I mean, I've thought about that. The chance, of course.
I mean, he fireballed almost all of them. He doesn't really need us too much, really.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more about, you know, for example, he just said the dark powers a bit want to keep Strahd where he is, yeah? So if we are on a mission to, let's say, release Strahd from his mortal bounds or whatever, therefore, our souls, our sacrifices, could be suffice for whatever power Casimir wants in return. You know, that's the thing, like you said, Fireball, you said, looks like he doesn't need us for protection. But, therefore, what does he need us for? Raises the question.
I remember back when we first met him at the tent, and I had the sun sword with me, and the sun sword gives me feelings. I've mentioned this before, and it was quite indifferent. It didn't seem to be worried about him. If he is against Strahd, we are against Strahd. Even if we don't have the same exact goal, how's that saying go? The enema in my enemy is my friend.
That would be enemy of my enemy is my friend. An
Right.
enema is something completely different, Carlos.
Either way, I think we're going to get it up the ass if we trust everyone we see, okay? I think we need to keep it in mind that we should just be a little wary.
Hang on a minute. You guys are cracking me up. Back when we first met the Dark Elf in the wine basement cellar, and I didn't trust him. You guys railed the crap out of me, and now you're saying, well, hang on a minute, let's not trust these guys. I don't know where I stand.
I will
And
have
give
you know,
Carnos 1 gold.
and I would like to remind you,
I handed
Carlos,
that off.
that I was, thank you, by the way, but I was on your side. I didn't trust him either.
Yeah, that's right, you were, and I respect you for that.
Then why are we
No.
riding with them?
Well,
Because
you
you
guys,
told us to be trustworthy of people.
yeah. And you said that there was gold in here.
So if I said you should go up and kiss Strahd, you would.
You're supposed to be our leader. Fibblestub, she's our leader, right?
Yeah, there was a whole vault and thing. Yeah, she's the leader. She's the boss. Mainly
See?
because we're scared that she's going to crush our heads in. But that's a different story.
So true. Scafus, she's our leader, right? You got that?
Nod my head.
I don't want to be the leader anymore, okay?
Bad luck.
Carnos can be the leader.
Nah, he's more of a follower.
I know. Let's make Adok the leader.
We're all fucking doomed.
Fine. Fibble.
Oh, you're really
No,
fucking doomed.
no. Everyone will have one leg missing.
Actually, you know what? I feel like I could make some. I feel like I could, step up to the plate a little bit.
No,
Yeah.
Adok.
Okay, Adok, a couple of
No,
minutes
no.
ago, you said that you've made a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, I
You're
have.
not the most wisest. You're not the most intelligent. You're willing to sign over your soul for a little bit of power.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm honest about it, right? And isn't honesty worth something?
He has a
Absolutely.
point.
Yeah, honesty's worth something, but your honesty in the fact that I'm going to sell you up the river as soon as I possibly fucking can is not a good thing. Zadriel is probably the only one here that won't turn around and fuck us over.
Zadriel gets out her hammer and goes to the tent opening.
It's not a tent; it's a guardhouse. You've got a couple of
Guardhouse door.
windows,
Window.
and as you peer out the window, you see it's a fair ways off, but it's big enough and loud enough that it sounds quite close. But you just see in the cloud cover as the light's starting to leave the day, that large bird again just sort of flying overhead and circling a couple of times, and then you see it swoop, and it then disappears out of sight. And as you then, what you guys hear as it then swoops and heads back into the clouds, and in its claws you can see a tiny wee figure that does not look unlike a horse. And it disappears into the cloud cover once again.
It's just Adriel that looked out that window, wasn't it?
Yep.
So
that
we
is
just
what-
hear the noise.
You would hear that. You would hear the horse whinny, and because that would have been quite close, because it was the wagons and that would have hitched, and the horses were hitched outside. And you probably at this point by then you would hear the muffled voices of the two dusk elves outside, and then it goes quiet once again. The Zadriel, you would have seen the rock fly away with the horse in its claw.
Took another horse. We're going to have to kill that thing.
Can you see its nest?
What?
I don't still see it, do I?
No, it's now starting to get dark, so it disappeared into the cloud cover, and just as the last light of the day starts to fade, and it is now very dark outside. The wind is picking up, snow is getting a little heavier. See outside the window that the snowfall is rather heavy now, and even with the fire going inside here, the temperature's dropped probably another 10 degrees.
Ooh. All right, Carnos, squeeze over. I'm going to move closer to you.
Oh, yeah, sweet. Here. Do you want me to unhitch my jacket and put it around you as well?
Yeah, why not?
So, yeah.
And I sort of use my jacket that I've been given by them as a bit of a blanket over the two of us,
Oh.
as well as the blankets that I've got in my bag.
So it's cold. It's not cold, like it's not bitterly cold, but even with the fire going, as I said, you can still see you guys' breath as you breathe, and you would have to huddle up inside the cloak to keep warm through the course of the evening. If you were to sort of stray too far from the fire, you would probably find that the cold would get to you. So the night is starting to draw in. Skathis and Fibblestib, you guys were taking the second watch once the Dusk Elves had finished theirs. So is there anything you guys wish to achieve before sleep? Anything else you wish to say?
Yep.
Before we head off to sleep?
Adok just has one thing to say. He's going to look at Carnos and he's going to hold up the single coin that Zadriel gave me. And just say nothing but look at Carnos.
All right, here's another. No, I can't, because it was from her. I'll give you 2 silvers to make a gold. It's even then.
Yeah, Adok takes it. But yeah, no, I didn't want you to, panic about the one that she gave me. That's all.
I wasn't panicking. I just handed it over.
Oh, well, thanks anyway.
Anybody else? So with that, you all you'd have to probably huddle together relatively closely and as close to the fire as you could possibly get to keep the heat as much as you can through the course of the first part of the evening. Eventually, the door swings open, probably waking most of you as the wind as they push it open, the wind howls through, whips through the place, causing a really cold breeze for a second as they close the door, and they wake Fibble and Scathus for your guys' watch. They then move up to where Casimir was in the next level up, leaving you guys down at the bottom again. So Scathus and Fibblestib, you are now awake, on watch. You stoke the fire, make sure you keep it going. The rest of you sort of drift off back to sleep after the disturbance. Anything that you two wish to discuss during the course of your watch?
The Master Talker. Why did you take this watch? Actually, has Emilia came and haunted you yet?
Yes.
Emma Strahd.
Yeah. It did.
What did she say to you?
I think I got a backstory. I'm not sure if it was it or not.
Yeah, I would have phased out on that one too. Then she rambled about something about being a god and blah blah blah, and she was meant to kill Strahd, and she didn't kill Strahd, so she became mortal and blah 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 blah.
Okay.
But it was interesting. At the same time, it gave me something to listen to instead of being there in the dark, all alone, carving.
I was on a mountainside watching the sunset, sunrise. Can't remember what.
Sunrise set.
Yeah,
Well, technically it sets and rises somewhere else. So yeah, sunrise set.
I think I zoned out after she started. I don't know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, she's kind of like Karnos, a little bit too long-winded.
Oh, don't get me started on Karnos, please. No.
Well, some of his stories are funny because they never actually end. They just jump from story to story. It's like he doesn't actually remember the lies.
True. I'll have to see if we can remember. No, we don't want to. No, definitely don't want him to remember.
Yeah, maybe we should tell him a story and see if he remembers it.
Hey, yeah.
Might work. Well, need more firewood. You're bigger and stronger. Throw it on. Come on.
And
Over the course of the 2 or 3 hours of your watch, you stoke the fire, keep it going. Discuss back and forward about your encounters with Emilia and Karnos and everything else. Is there anything in particular each of you want that each of you individually might want to achieve during this watch? Like something more personal, reading a book or creating something?
Actually, I do say to Scathus, it's like, do you have like magical type weapons? Like when you hit something, it's like magical?
I put my hands up. These.
As I said, magical?
These.
Scathus, their hands, they're not magical. You might think that they're magical late at night, but they really aren't.
I can hit stuff that has magical resistance, and it hurts them.
Okay, cool. How about sunlight? Are you able to produce sunlight?
No.
Running water?
No.
Can you turn water into wine and wine into water?
No.
How are you with diplomacy?
What's that again?
Yeah, we're boned. Okay. I think Z's gonna have to do all the heavy lifting. Maybe Karnos as well. I'll have to make something for Haddock. Start drawing.
No worries. So,
And I'll just sit there and watch what he's doing.
okay. So the night, your watch draws to a close, and eventually you wake the rest. You wake the other three as your watch ends. Zadriel, Karnos, and Adok, you are woken by Fibble and Scathus as they prepare to turn in and finish off their rest for the evening. And the watch is now yours. So this watch will take you through to sunrise, as it is now the wee smalls of the evening. Is there anything you guys wish to achieve separately before we go into what you want to talk about together?
I will take the minute to cast a magic circle that only Celestials can sit in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to put all my gold in a circle around me and my flasks of wine around me and drink.
Okay. You guys witness this ritual casting.
How
You
much
see,
gold?
you see Zadriel lay out her gold.
All of it.
Is it a big amount?
Roll perception, Adok, if you wish to try and determine roughly how much it might be. And I'd say with advantage, because you're a trader, you're a shopkeeper. You got a good understanding of how much gold could be stacked in this particular way or laid out in a particular way.
30-20.
Give me a ball.
100.
I said 100 gold. So about 100 gold laid out, plus a couple of flasks which he drinks from occasionally. Which you'd probably smell the wine, Karnos.
While Adok's sort of counting the gold quickly, I'll sort of walk forward and just sort of lean in and go,
Hey Zadriel, I've got some to share too if you want.
and I'll just sort of lean in to almost try to grab one of the flasks.
What
on the
happens to
floor.
Karnos as he crosses the barrier?
I imagine it's like a little force field because it just says that they absolutely can't get in. Well, you
Okay,
can
so-
either keep something in
Like a mime.
or
So
keep
yeah, you
something
probably
out.
lean in as you go to lean in to talk to her. You probably bonk your forehead, like, gunk.
Ugh. I can't pick up this wine.
Keep
Wait,
giving gold to Adok
yeah,
for no reason.
but when he's been good usually.
He wasn't being good. He was cheating you out of your gold.
I would
I-
never.
I don't really need gold often. It's not a problem as long as he's doing the right thing. You know, or what most of us consider right.
He held up a gold in front of you, in front of both of us, and you just gave him money.
He what now?
How is that? How is that good?
What did you say?
He held up a coin, and you just threw more money at him.
He held up a coin because it was uneven, and he knew that having an uneven amount is not right.
See, I was doing the right thing, a good thing.
Oh my god. Zadriel drinks another drink.
I can't. Hey,
I just start opening both my flasks and
I would like to drink with you, and I sit on the outside of the circle, actually put my sort of back against it and lean on it as we talk. This is a cool trick. What?
I just reach out the circle because I'm allowed to go out
Yep.
and just hand him a little bit of my like fourth of a flask here.
Oh, lovely.
I take the flask, I carry on sipping, I look at Adok.
Come and sit on this invisible wall thing. This is quite comfy.
Yeah, all right. As Adok walks over, he's gonna be shuffling a deck of cards as well, having just counted the gold.
Emilia came to me the other night and she said that we were good people. That we were generally good at heart.
I've think we are, yeah.
Hmm.
I think Scoper said Emilia came in him as well.
Blech. Oh, this wine is not so good.
It tastes fine to me.
Mm. Do you think you don't? They don't. She said she was kidding.
I don't think they did anything either.
Yeah.
I don't think Scapus knows how to do anything other than his monk stuff.
He told me he'd never talked because bad things happen when he speaks. He said that a long time ago.
You know what? I think he makes his own bad luck sometimes, because whenever I try to teach him or tell him anything, he just ignores it. His parents must have had one hell of a time. Adok, have you tried to teach him anything? Has he soaked anything in?
No. I mean, no. Do you want fancy a game of cards?
That's a very good insight, Carnos. And I pour him a little more wine.
Oh, thank you. This is good wine. I mean, it tastes exactly like the other wine. Actually, it tastes pretty close to the same as the wine in my flasks, but this flask stuff is the stuff that Adok made me. It's really good.
Yeah.
Cards. I don't know how to play cards.
Oh, look, it is so simple. I can teach you 20 gold buy-in from each of us. 5% goes to the
expensive.
house, which is me. Yeah, well, you know, but you're learning something here. You could potentially walk away with my gold, which was Carnus's gold, which was the party's gold.
So you
Now-
try to take his gold then.
Hold on a minute there. I don't give away the party's gold. I keep the party funds separate from the funds I allow myself, just so we're clear.
So if I were to switch my spell and cast Zone of Truth, I would find out you were just wanting to play cards. No real other reason.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, just, you know, I mean, well, there's a lot of gold there, and, you know, as Carnus said, which is not really needed, and I've been in here for a while, and if I were to leave eventually, which hopefully I will, I would need to set up certain things, and, you know, I've lost a bit of money, and I just feel that it would be best if...
Where did you lose it?
Well, no, I mean, this being here, I will have lost revenue from my...
Oh, right.
you know. Yeah. Anyway, Keen, I promise, I absolutely promise I will not cheat. I don't even know how.
You two play, I'll keep watch, because they're kind of supposed to be watching, right? I'll check out the window for that big bird thing.
And I sort of wander off for a bit.
Yep, no worries.
10 gold buy-in.
Oh, all right, but just keep in mind that 5% goes to the house, so which is me. So even if I lose, I get 5%.
What?
Hey, I didn't make up the rules. That's just what it is.
I feel like you're... I don't know. I don't...
Carnos, over by the window, will say, you know what? DM should bless you with this. You'll be a good learner at cards. He'll give you his blessings for sure.
And he will cast Bless on Zadriel.
Gives you a D4. Well, there's ability checks and saving throws of it. Or attacks. I forget. Attacks and saving throws?
Attack or saving throws.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, all right.
It's not really going to help with ability
Not really
checks.
It's a thought that counts.
Makes you feel better. You feel blessed. The DM is with you. So, what are we
And the-
playing?
Adok would just go over just a simple form of blackjack, 21.
Okay, so 21.
Yeah.
Easiest way to do this is we will get... How are we going to do this? How did we do it
20 to
last time?
21 first, maybe? I don't know.
So what would the
Usually
easiest-
like it's the amount of dice. So you roll amount of dice, and then you tally it up. Whoever's got like you roll the same amount of dice, and whoever's
Okay.
got closest to. So
I
like
think-
2d8, yeah, or 2d10s.
We'll make it 2d10.
Yeah.
So
And
only-
I think
the maximum's only going to be 20. So
Yeah, I think a 1 is like either the 11 or the 1.
we'll make the 1. If you get a 1, it'll be an 11. Make it that way, because then that way you can get 21. So both you roll a 2d10. Or a d12 and a d9 works, if you can get a d9.
I rolled 2d10.
You can get a d12 and a d9. You roll 2 d10s.
Oh, whoops.
But,
Okay.
so you, it doesn't give you both numbers. You might have to roll a d10 separately to get 2 numbers.
I've got a 2 and a 9.
I
2 and a
got
9?
9 and a 5.
So you got, Zadriel wins that hand.
Could Adok sleight of hand one of the cards very stealthily?
Roll sleight of hand versus perception.
Okay.
So it's my percent. Okay.
Yep, so your perception versus his sleight of hand.
Oh shit. Nope.
And
Only just beat you.
yeah.
So I'll let you roll one d10. Try and up your, so you get another 2. So you still lose.
The DM is with me.
Adok is just going to look
So Adok, you deal the cards. You deal out 2 cards to Zadriel. You deal out 2 cards to yourself, but you very sneakily switch one of the cards, knowing it to be low. But unfortunately, you may have sort of balls up the switch somewhere, but Zadriel beats you with a 14.
It's okay, dog. The house gets 5%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's he's got to put the cards away now. All right. What's
So Adok, you lose 10 gold, and well, you lose what's 5%?
Yep,
5
5.
instead of 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or 10. So it's like, yeah.
2 gold.
Say 2
2.
gold. So you lose 8 gold to Zadriel.
Yeah.
The Adriel add 8 gold, Adok minus 8 gold. So you only play the one hand, Adok? You is that where you give up?
Nah, he's pretty pride hurt. So he's pretty butt hurt. He'd probably, if Zadriel. Yeah,
Double or nothing?
Yeah, you know what? I'm feeling lucky this time.
Okay, so 20 gold buy-in this time from you each, so 40 gold pot.
But this time he's gonna mutter something goblin and cast guidance on himself as he touches his chest and he's shuffling the deck.
Karnos is going to stand behind Adok just as he walks around the room looking at his cards and try and give finger signals to Zadriel.
Okay.
He's got.
So it doesn't really. It's probably not going to help because they've already bet, and the cards are going to be as they lay anyway. But you could. This would give, if Adok tries the sleight of hand again, would give Zadriel advantage on perception. So Adok with an 8. Zadriel, what is your 2d10?
I got
11.
9 and a 2.
So
Karnos
once
is sort of behind her
again.
going,
So once again, Adok, are you going to try the sleight of hand to make your hand better?
Sleight of hand, and he's gonna use the guidance if he can.
Okay, so roll a d10 and a d4.
Yep.
Zadriel, actually no, roll a dexterity, roll your sleight of hand, but add your d4.
Yep.
Zadriel, you will get advantage on the perception because Karnos is standing behind you watching. Yeah, what was your dex sleight of
17.
hand? So 13. Zadriel.
17 perception.
Zadriel, you notice there's something odd about the way he handled those cards when he dealt them. He has beaten you. He's beaten you by 2. But you notice there's something not quite right about how he dealt that card. You've definitely noticed something odd.
Oh, it looks like you got this one. Perhaps I should deal, and we could just do one more hand. Winner take all.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Adok could,
And
if you tried to turn it down, I'd make you make a wisdom save. 'cause
I'm
he's done-
taking the cards and putting them in my circle.
Okay, so you take the cards. So winner take all. So this will be for the original 20 gold in the pot and the new 40. So the total will be 60 gold. Which Adok, if you lose, you'll lose 30 all up. But you will gain 8 back because of 5%. So you lose 28.
Adok's still
22.
Adok's probably still going to try something, but just I have a question for Zadriel on the DM. Can spells pass through your circle?
Let me read it real quick.
I think that'd be. I don't know what. I mean, I'm not sure of the spell. So
I think they can. It's
Okay.
just
Great.
the creatures.
okay,
Oh, no.
Fantastic.
okay. So Zadriel now has the cards. So we'll resolve what is going to happen before the cards are dealt. So what is Adok going to try at this point?
So
And is Zadriel going to try anything?
I'm looking.
so Adok has minor illusion.
Okay, this is a spell that they've seen you cast before.
Yeah.
So they would recognize it. So we're going to have a. Is it vocal somatic?
No, it's not vocal. It's somatic and material.
Just
But I can
somatic.
pull out a piece of fleece. It's just a piece of fleece.
Okay, so you're going to have to roll a sleight of hand
Yep.
versus perception again because Karnos is watching this as well. So Karnos, you would roll your perception also.
I would
Or
say
have you
Carlos
moved
would be
away?
back around the room.
Okay, so
again.
you've
Sorry,
moved
just,
away.
Just passing by. Yeah.
I got a 14
So
perception.
14 perception. So sleight of hand.
Come on, sleight of hand. Fuck!
So once again, Zadriel, you notice he sort of very sneakily pulls something out of his pocket, and you see the flash of the sort of dirty white of the fleece, and he sort of does a little hand motion with it, and it disappears.
Adok, I would hate to think that you are cheating.
Me? Oh,
Yes, you.
most trustworthy fellow. You know, we've had some good times, you and I. I would. Yeah, all right. I cheated a little bit.
Yeah.
Carlos strolls up, puts his hand out by Adok and says, 2 gold, my friend.
You haven't done it. Oh, yeah, right.
You give him 2 gold.
Yeah.
So, Zadriel, you're still going to deal the final hand.
Yeah, well, I'll still do it. To be
Okay,
fair, since he
so-
admitted he was
So he's admitted he was cheating.
honest.
So roll your 2d10. We've got an 11.
At
And an 11, so we have a tiebreaker here. So what we'll do is we'll get each of you to roll 1 more d10. The Adok gives him a
20.
total of 20.
Oh,
17. So with this, the spell is lost on the minor illusion because you got caught. But you just miraculously in that second card, you turn over that third card, as the draw it needs to be resolved. You turn over and the 7 turns over in Zadriel. You turn over the 9s turn over and the 7s turn over in yours. And you see Adok's eyes light up.
Well,
As
would you
winner
look
takes
at that?
all.
Winner takes all.
because you were honest, you can have the gold.
Well, I mean, I won anyway, so.
Yeah. But you are honest about it, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Zadriel, you minus 30 gold from your pot, and Adult, you add 30.
And Carlos would tap Adok on the shoulder and say,
Oh, I thought you said the dealer gets 5% though.
True.
Very astute of you, Carlos. Thank you for reminding us about that rule.
So, in that case, Zadriel, you only minus 22 gold.
She was the house that round, right? She had the cards. That was. I haven't played. It was just my understanding.
You only get 22 gold, Adok.
Well, he's gonna give. He's also gonna give Carlos 2 gold if he did something good as well, and he knows the rules. Begrudgingly.
Oh,
Give
awesome.
Carlos more wine. Good job.
Thank you, Cedric. Oh, there's a lot of thank yous going on. Nothing happening out the window?
Roll a perception check for me. Disadvantage with heavy snowfall.
Yeah, and a bit of drink.
And a bit of drink.
That will be 7.
7. Kind of hard to tell. It's very sort of whiteout type deal going on out there. There's a bit of a storm. Not really a storm, just the wind that comes up the valley and whips the snow around. It's kind of hard to see. And the wind's quite loud now. That's very, and with the crackle of the fireplace, it's kind of hard to hear anything either. So you don't really notice anything.
I say, Adok, there's something come out the window. There's something out here.
What? Yeah,
Come here.
all right.
Come on.
Yeah, but all right.
You'll have to
Get
lift
some.
them up. The window's about your
Oh,
eye height.
shit.
So
I'll pick him up like the Terminator in T2 with the little kid by the straps.
Look at all that snow.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen snow, like that much snow before?
No, I haven't.
is that your hell? You muted.
Do I still get to ask the DM questions and he answers?
No,
the
that
questions?
is now
Oh,
gone.
shit.
All of your
was gonna
dark
say-
gifts have been removed. You can make
I
a
pray
request.
anyways,
You
and
can
I
pray
go,
to DM.
Did Edok just cheat me at gods? And I wait. And I'm looking as Karnos is distracting, and I take my 22 gold back.
And no, there's no need for a perception roll because you're completely distracted. So Adok minus 22 gold. Well played, Zadriel. Play of the game. DM's inspiration.
Sometimes, Adok, when you're looking at the snowflakes in the dark, you can make like skull faces and stuff out of them. Look, as that one flows, look, that's like a cow skull. You see it?
I'm still holding him by his britches.
No, I don't. Actually, yeah, kind of. And that one's like a little snow bunny as well. You see that over there?
Snow bunny. I don't. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's sort of like a. Yeah. Oh, that's a something.
That's all right. You can put me down now.
No, let's wait and see what it is.
No, I'd like to get down now, sir, please.
All right, I'll put it down.
That was nothing. That was just me fucking with Adok.
Okay.
But the rest of your watch goes uninterrupted and without incident. Until
counts as cold. And notice that it's
as
missing.
eventually Adok, you would, because Adok would definitely do that. He'd move away from the group and probably just go through his gold, thinking, I got me some extra gold, and go through it and realize that you don't have any extra. In fact, you're down 20 something gold, 20 odd, 22. You'd know exactly how much you're down. You keep tight track of your gold.
And it would just grin, smile, nod, bring his coins back. But he's just gonna bide his time. He's gonna think for now.
I mean, you'd be pretty certain of what's happened. You're not 100% sure, obviously, but you would definitely assume that while you were busy, that something untoward has happened. But the sun eventually arises. The day gets lighter, or grayer, as it is in Barovia, as it is always. Eventually, Casimir and the Dusk Elves return to this main area. And Casimir, you eat, you drink, you get ready. Casimir warns you once again about the cold. Make sure you wrap up as best you can, as we have a bit of a walk to make it up the path to the temple. It's going to be probably 3 or 4 hours in the snow, so it's going to be very, very cold. And that is about where we will end tonight's session. We will carry on next week as you guys leave the guard tower and take the path towards the Amber Temple. Well done, everybody. Another great session. Well done, team. Awesome RP as usual. Chat, thank you for hanging out with us. We appreciate it very, very much. So we will start this time. I think we're going to start with Adok tonight. We should bring Miss Emilia back for her final appearance in the Curse of Strahd as well, if he's still awake. Mr. Drax, you still there?
He was commenting in chat just before, so it can't be too far.
Cool, there he is. So, ladies and Germanies,
Yeah,
Adok.
there was definitely a couple tonight. First of all, Fibbles, when he's telling skaters, is like, you might think your hands are magical late at night, but they're not. That one got me good. I also liked, for the DM, just the description of the rock and all that kind of stuff. I was genuinely shitting myself as you were describing that whole encounter. I was
Well,
like,
that's good. That's good to know.
So, but yeah, I'll leave it at that. There's a couple more. I just don't want to take away from other people.
No worries. Next up, we'll go Skasis.
Carlos teaching Skasis how to drive.
Well, he was a good teacher. Skaith was just as a bad fucking pupil by the looks of that.
Yep, absolutely.
Anything else?
But yeah, no, that's it.
That's it from you. Fibblestep.
The card game at the end of the night. I enjoyed that, and how everyone was trying to rope everyone off. And in the end, Adok, who was cheating the most, actually lost. Which is good.
It happens from time to time.
It gave me a nice warm feeling.
Zadriel.
I liked Carnos's killing blow on the undead there. That was cool. And of course, the talk with Emilia is touching. And I think Fibblestib mentioned something about if Edok led, and then he said something like, "Oh, we're doomed," or something like that. That was funny.
Yes, that was my favourite moment. We're all doomed. And then even when you guys suggested that Fibble lead, he said, no, we're definitely doomed if that happens. Emilia. Mr. Drax.
Quite a few. Most of them have been said. With the Skathis and Carnos learning to ride things. So if you're going to whip it good. Yeah.
Indeed.
Carnos saying swing low, and you're just like, yeah.
I couldn't help it.
But it was at the same time.
It just the first thing that popped into my head, I couldn't help it. I had to.
And I put that clip there in there too.
I did see that, yeah.
That crap out there. Brilliant.
No worries. We have Fermina, enemy of my enemy, from Carnos. That was an interesting moment as well. Carnos, a moment from you.
Zadriel earlier on to Emilia during their back and forth speech was pretty good, but the piece that caught me was, well, maybe we should put you in my armor. You might be able to actually bang something, which I thought was
into the hammer, yes.
Either way, it was pretty good.
Yes.
And then there's the Fibble and Skathis having the debate right before they did. Fibble says, "Oh, the Master Talker, why did you take this watch?" And then they just had that whole debate over the leadership after that.
Definitely. We also have moment Carnos. I think Emilia also came inside Skathis. And that definitely made me chuckle. Again, those are most of my moments have been said. Definitely, again, the RP tonight was awesome. Yeah, she definitely said hammer.
It might have been the accent I lost it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yes, I'll put you in my hammer and at least you'll be able to bang something.
Sweet. That
Yes.
was right over my head. Put her in my armor?
Yeah, I wrote armor down too.
Yeah, it was definitely hammer. Magic. If it's a verbal agreement, just cut out his tongue out from Fibblestib. I thought that was good too. But overall, another great session from everyone tonight. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Chat, players, thank you for coming along for another week to continue telling the story. Things are starting to getting a little more interesting now. even more so, things are really starting to happen. You're getting into the meat of the story.
So are we still going to gag Alok, or?
Hey, it's up to you guys. You'll have to sort that out next week. Unfortunately, as I've said just previously, that this is the final appearance of Emilia / Drax in our story, as her soul has now been compelled to join the March of the Dead, and as of this day in Barovia, Emilia's spirit will be rising at midnight every night and making the march from the Barovian cemetery to Castle Ravenloft to pay homage to Lord Strahd, as does most adventurers that are felled in these lands. So this will be the last, may not be the last time we see Drax in this campaign, but that'll be possibly the last time we see Emilia. Depending on what happens with the group, if they find the right spells or the right people, we may see a resurrection of Emilia, possibly. Never know. But for all intents and purposes at this point, this is her final appearance. So I do want to extend a big thank you to Drax for being a part of the story and playing his awesomely awesome troll character, which he did not intend on lasting as long as it did initially. But he has enjoyed himself so much so that he's involved himself in several other campaigns since taking on this campaign. So GG's to Drax, and thanks very much, my friend, for being a part of the story, and we'll definitely see you again, no doubt. He will generally be in the chat, trolling the crap out of the players and the chatters during our sessions. So, and he's also one of my mods as well, so we'll definitely see him in the chat in the future of the story. Again, not sure how long we have left in the story. It could end at any time.
Just thank you, Evil, and thank the group as well, because this is my first D&D experience, and you've made it very enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
So thank you all for that.
Awesome, dude. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I mean,
Crap, that's not what we set out to do.
Damn it! No.
It's like, crap.
Sorry, you all screwed up.
I have to say, man, I pleasantly enjoyed, just like your creativeness for being a first-time player, especially with the use of
cantrip abuse.
Yeah. Like, it was totally abuse, but I loved it though. I was so excited. The next time I was like, what else are you gonna do now? It was really, really cool. Really creative.
Don't worry, he still does it in Yanti's campaign. Anyway.
I know. Speaking of Yanti's campaign, make sure you come back to see us all on Friday, Stormlord's Wrath, on Yanti's channel, to continue that story, which I'm back. I can be back part of that story now. So that's on Fridays on the Yanti One's channel. Back here Sunday for the continuance of the Dusk Hollow mini adventure as well. We've got 2 or 3 more sessions there with that. And then obviously more Curse of Strahd next week. One thing I will say is I just want to thank those that hung out with me last night when we were doing some D&D monster stuff. We created 2 homebrew monsters last night with the chat, which turned out actually really, really cool. So I'm probably going to do it again, probably once a week for a few weeks anyway, and see what imaginative things that we can come up with homebrew monster-wise for Paradigm 2, which is the second homebrew campaign, which will be running after the Vampire the Masquerade story has come to its completion. We'll be diving back into the world of Paradigm. So we created 2 homebrew creatures last night, so we'll see if we can get some more out of that. It was fun, Magic. I really enjoyed it. Something a little different, and I think we come out with a rather terrifying creature to begin with, which, if we can come out with a few more like that, it'd be awesome. And as Drax so eloquently put, it's a sea creature that can survive on land and flies, so it's a duck. Not quite, but might as well have been. It could have been. It could have been a rather vicious pelican. But anywho, we need someone to raid. I was thinking
one of those pelicans from Ark. Damn it.
Exactly. Yeah, it steals all your shit. I was looking at maybe Aussie Destro, who's doing a Just Chatting. his title reads, "Someone should make a waiting in line simulator / New World." Because apparently that's what everyone's doing in New World at the moment, is just waiting in queues. Otherwise, does anyone else have anyone we can rate? Definitely doesn't weigh the same as a duck. Definitely a lot heavier. It's a large creature. Could be a giant duck. Never know. So, chat, does anyone have anyone that they would like to see us raid? It doesn't look like we've got many people on the D&Ds tonight. Have you got any suggestions? Let me know. Oh, we got a dad joke. When Dad drops a pee off his plate. Ah, that's old. Oh dear, I've peed on the plate. I peed on the table. Or the floor, or the rug. Okay, we've got GM Workshop doing some homebrew stuff. We could rate him. Need to make the rabbit from Monty Python's. You reckon?
Just looks like an ordinary rabbit. Oh.
It's got teeth and stuff. Oh, we're going to raid Moody. Looks like he's just started. And he's doing some arc. I think he's playing on Valguero. He's just starting up, so we're going to raid Mr. Moody Gamer.
Yeah, he's normally hanging out in our channel. So
Yeah.
See what he does on Valguero and then teach him how not to play it.
Looks like him and Benny Boy are doing actually pretty well. So there we go, guys. That's it for us tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and we will see you. What's tomorrow? Thursday. I might be streaming tomorrow. I don't know what. Maybe doing some more monster stuff, or maybe doing some pews. We'll see what's happening. Keep an eye on the Discord. Other than that, we will see you on Friday over on the Auntie channel for some more D&D. Until then, take care, and we'll see you later.